Now I know what you're thinking. No, I don't know what you're thinking. Why would I say that? Hello, super friends! My name is Annie, and welcome back to another episode of Superhero Saturday, where we talk about the arts of superheroes, storytelling, and so much more. I am super glad to be back in front of the camera after a long break for having COVID, so thank you for your thoughts and prayers, and I'm so glad to be able to do this again. My energy level is still a little tricky to deal with, and my sense of smell and my sense of taste are both not back at 100%, but I'm just happy to be back. Anyway, enough of that noise, let's get right back into the superhero stuff. And today we're going to talk about an essential element of the whole superhero comic book genre. And that is by answering one question. What is a superpower? Now I know this seems like maybe a little bit of a silly question to ask, like what is the sky or what is physics? But I think it's an essential question to look at, especially when you are a fan of superheroes and you want to create more super-powered stories of your own. What is a superpower? What makes an ability something different enough to be categorized as super? For example, is being able to count to 10 a superpower? I don't think so. So let's get a little bit into this topic. I got to thinking and I came up with this Venn diagram for explaining what I think it takes to be a superpower. The three elements of ability in relation to superpowers are as follows: talent, skill, and weirdness. Skill is a simple enough element to explain. That means a task that anyone can learn to do through hard work and training. Things like math, driving, real estate law, whatever. You don't have to have anything special about yourself except the ability to learn the protocols and procedures associated with the ability at hand. The second element, talent, is a little different. A lot of people misuse the word talent when describing someone's ability because, well, if someone can do something that you can't with apparent ease, it might seem a little magical to you. I have a little bit of a history with this word because when I was in school as a little kid, I was labeled talented and gifted, and part of our curriculum associated with that program, because being special apparently means you just get extra homework, was centered around defining our identities outside of our advancedness. Talent is not something that you can learn or achieve by figuring out how to do a certain series of tasks. Talent is a natural, innate ability to understand a certain field of study and be able to do it well without knowing the proper skills and protocols to do it right. Take, for example, music. Anyone can learn how to do the skill of making music. You can learn how to play an instrument. You can learn how to read sheet music. You can learn how to be involved in a band. But someone who is talented in music has that innate ability to understand and contribute to the field in a way that is new and novel and unique and artistic, without having to necessarily learn the skills. A person who is talented in the field of music would be able to play a tasteful solo or write a new piece that is very appealing to the masses, or add something to an existing piece of music that just makes it completely sparkle. That is what differentiates talent from skill. The last bubble, which is weirdness, speaks for itself, I think. While someone can be talented in a rare way or learn a skill that few others understand, weirdness is that element that turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. It's something that almost no one else in the world can do or necessarily would think of to try. Your ability can be weird without having the need to be talented at it or being able to be a skill that can be learned, and that's why this bubble exists. For example, inherent weirdness without skill or talent might be the ability to shoot milk out of your nose. It might be something you can teach, although I have no idea how you would, and it might be a talent, although I'm not sure why you would be able to add anything to the concept of spitting milk out of your nose. So that puts this into just the weirdness category. Now let's get on to the second level of this Venn diagram, the interaction points. Skill plus talent, of course, is the obvious one. If we go along with the example of music, someone who is both skilled and talented at it would be a professional musician. They would be able to play out concerts with thousands of people in the audience. They would be able to record records that everyone is buying. They would be able to play with the highest caliber of ensembles. Skill plus weirdness might be the kid who can shoot anything out of their nose on command, which again, why would you want to do that? Or maybe you can do underwater basket weaving, or talk backwards, or speak in a language that is made up and few people actually understand it. On the other side, we have the talent plus weirdness scale, which is something that you can't exactly learn or teach, but also something that no one else would really think of to try. For example, if you could guess the number someone is thinking anytime you asked, that would be definitely weird, and it would be a talent, but if you couldn't refine that talent into a skill, then you would be left with just talent and weirdness. That brings us into the center of the diagram, the place where all three of these categories combine together and turn the ability into a true superpower. The combination of both skill, talent, and weirdness. This is what makes a character learn how to fly, or shoot lasers out of their eyes, or shapeshift into any kind of creature. These abilities that we're so used to seeing in comic books, cartoons, and blockbuster movies are really at their best when they combine the innate artistry of talent with the unique power of weirdness and channel that into the drive and dedication of skill. Without weirdness, these people would be just ordinary humans. Without talent, these powers would feel kind of lame. They would lack that little extra bit of magic of being able to integrate this character's ability with their personality. And without skill, there's no room left for character development, which is so crucial for any good superpower story. And the characters would really fall flat. That combination of all three of these elements is what makes a superpower great. In order to give you guys a better understanding of what differentiates a superpower from just kind of an ordinary power, I thought that I would give you guys some example of some of my not so superpowers that I seem to have combinations of abilities that make them out of the normal, but not quite good enough that I would need to start fighting crime with them. For example, I can feel the difference between salt water and fresh water. Literally, like if they're the same temperature in a bucket and I stick my hand in one and I stick my other hand in the other, I could tell you which one had salt in it and which one didn't, even without taste. I don't know why I have this ability. I don't know how to explain it to anybody else. It's kind of like saying, what's the difference between red and blue? Well, one is red and one is blue. I don't know. They just feel different to me. So that would be something that would kind of fall under the weird plus talent category. But not quite as much skill to make it a superpower. I also have a really interesting ability to be able to memorize like up to 5 digits in a row with like no time to memorize at all. For example, like a passcode to get into a building, or just like half of somebody's phone number or something. This works really well for memorizing facts for like a test, because as long as there's a number next to it, I usually can pick that out and remember the rest of the factoid. I have seen people learn how to memorize numbers better, so I think that this is just an unrefined skill and maybe a little bit on the talent side or the weird side, depending on how weird you think it is. But again, not really a superpower. I can also roll my tongue. It's just kind of a weird thing that I can do, but apparently you have to have like some disposition to be able to do this, so whatever it is, I got it. I can't do that little leaf thing that some people can do though, so. Weird plus talent, but no skill. The weirdest one is that I can smell a dead body from like 100 or more feet away. This is a super weird one and it's kind of gross, but like I have been on the beach when there's like a dead whale or a sea lion or something, and we've been like hundreds of feet away, literal hundreds of feet away, and I'm like, something smells not right. And usually that means if we keep walking down the beach, we will find a dead thing. Again, I don't know where I would have gotten the idea that I could smell these things, so I don't necessarily think it's a skill that I can develop, but I do have it, and it's weird. I also think I can randomly turn lights on and off. It's not really at will, but like, it has been way more frequent than to be coincidental that I can drive down the street and like street lights turn off or back on depending on where they're at when I come across them. And one time I fixed a light in my brother's house just by turning it on. Like, it was bugging out before, and he had me come over to look at it to try and fix it, and I was like, what do you mean? It's working just fine. Might be a superpower, but I haven't refined any skills yet. You decide. So that's about all I could think of for this video. If you guys have any other ideas of weird not so superpowers, go ahead and put them in the comments below because I'm super curious. Humanity is all kinds of different weirdness, and I would love to see any of those different weird abilities that you guys have. Maybe they are superpowers and we just don't know it. And that about wraps it up for today, super friends, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, go ahead and give us a big thumbs up, and subscribe if you would like to see more superheroic content every single Saturday. Join the team by following us on social media or supporting us on Patreon. And if you'd like to see my own original superhero stories, you can go to our website at www.fearless9.com. Again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.